Hey everyone, Jay Pitts, broker owner at RE/MAX Premier Properties, and today we're here with Ian Hooper for another episode of Resource Real Talk About Real Estate, and we're going to delve into downsizing. So Ian, when you hear about downsizing, so often we think about the baby boomer generation, and selling the home that they raised their family in and kind of going into a smaller property as they age. But actually, what we've noticed is that the trend is kind of becoming pretty popular across all generations. Why don't you tell our viewers what some of the positives may be associated with downsizing or right-sizing?
Mm-hmm. Well, whether you've lived in a house for a short period of time or over a couple of decades, you may have built up a considerable amount of equity, either just over the long period of time, or if you are in a market that has appreciated in a very short period of time, you may be in a position to cash out some of that equity and take advantage of it, moving into a property that either costs less, giving you cash to invest in other ways, or to move into a property with higher equity, lowering your mortgage payment, or maybe even getting a lower interest rate, which would be nice. Then also, if you move to moving to a smaller property, you may find that you have less maintenance and your utility bills may be less.
No, absolutely. So less outgoing monthly, more equity, could get better financing terms. Mm-hmm. Okay, fantastic. So let's say our viewer wants to see some of these benefits that you've just kind of explained to them, and but they've got some concerns. They've accumulated a lot of things over the years that say they've been in it for a number of years, or frankly, my wife and I moved out of a house after 5 years. You wouldn't believe the amount of stuff that you accumulate. What are they supposed to do with all that stuff if they're going into a smaller property?
Mm-hmm. And I've had some experience with that personally. My mother at one point in time downsized from a 2,000 square foot home in Deer Park to a 600 square foot apartment. And to prepare for that, she and I had to have some very serious conversations about things that I wanted to make sure were in her house when I came to visit her. Things that reminded me of Mom's house, and things that she wanted to make sure that she saved for me, that when I had room for them in my place. And she discovered some things that she thought I would care about that I didn't want at all. And she discovered some things that she thought that I would say, hey Mom, toss that I just absolutely adored. So having some honest conversations is very important. But the actual mechanics of it, what do I do with it? I discovered that it's not as easy to sell things as I thought it was going to be. I mean, I really thought my stuff was really cool, but some of the things were not, no one on Craigslist wanted them. No one on Facebook Marketplace wanted them. I did have some success just going to Goodwill and dropping it in the bin. They always say yes. And if you've ever been to any of the peddlers malls, every person that has one of those booths, they buy things from people just like you, with houses full of stuff. Go to a peddler's mall, get some phone numbers, get some business cards, call them up and have them take a look at your stuff. They'll give you something for it.
Right. And if you don't, you're not able to sell it, like you said, there's plenty of local charities, I'm sure, that you could research very easily online that would be willing to take donations as well, if you're not about the Goodwill thing. Some people aren't, but plenty of opportunities and outlets. Okay, so we've talked about the benefits. We've talked about the execution. But there's some challenges out there in the marketplace. The sellers of big, nice homes, which is where we know the reality of where a lot of the would-be downsizers are. There may be some challenges in that market. There may be challenges in availability on properties they would buy. Where are they going to go? Mm-hmm. Where are they going to go if they want to take use of some of these advantages you've explained?
That's a great question. In my work with homeowners that are in this situation and considering a move to a smaller property, that is their question. Where am I going to go? And a lot of folks, in my mind, I think it really takes just a level of open-mindedness to look outside of the assumptions that you've made about yourself.
Right.
Maybe you've got this house, you've lived in it for 30 years, your kids are gone, they've got kids now, and you thought, well, I would just live in this neighborhood my entire life. Well, if all of the houses in this neighborhood are too big for you now, it might be time to consider moving to another part of town. Yeah. Maybe it's the part of town that you lived in before you upsized, right?
That's
before you expanded. Those 2-bedroom houses, they still exist in that part of town.
Right.
What we're seeing in some of those parts of town is that people are buying those houses and they're fixing them up. There are opportunities to purchase properties in those more what we would consider starter homes that may be appropriate for folks that are downsizing or right-sizing, and they come with really nice upgrades and really fancy bathrooms and really fancy kitchens with that really cool open floor plan that everybody wants.
Sure.
And one of the important things is to know that there are licensed real estate professionals all over town, just like us here on this team, that can help. And we can help you find properties that are ready to go. We can help you find properties that need a little love, you know, that maybe you could find a really great deal on a house that is the right size for you, but it needs some updates. And you can take that equity that you've built in, that you've got built up in your house, buy this house that is the right size, and turn it into a house that you really like, that you can spend the rest of your life in.
That's a really great point, Ian. You know, I think really what, you know, our viewers need to understand and consider when downsizing is, you know, what are the benefits? What does the execution look like, and what are the challenges? You know, and I think you did a great job of outlining all of that. You know, it's also important to understand that your new home needs to fit your lifestyle. It doesn't create your lifestyle. And some of those areas, you know, where you talked about those 2-bedroom homes, it's next to really fun stuff to do on the weekends. So definitely keep that in mind. We really appreciate you guys, you know, logging on and watching our videos here at Resource Real Talk About Real Estate. I'm Jay Pitts for Ian Hooper. Join us again soon. Bye.